Hello, it's Steve here from Sci-Fi Funk, and I'm going to be looking at the Super JX, the MKS-70 module. This is a talkie, not really a playy. I'll do that later. And I'm going to be comparing it with a Jupiter 6. Now, really, I suppose it should be compared with the Jupiter 8 because that was a flagship synth of its day, whereas this was the module of the flagship synth of its day. But it lacks a number of features. But it still sounds great. And I don't know if I think you can see in the picture there's a MIDI Verb 2 there. It's the only hardware reverb I've currently got. Dying to get my hands on a lexicon. That will really make the thing sing. I'm not actually putting it through that today because it mullers the sound a little bit. But as with all these analogues, for the lead lines and various pads and stuff, if you can put it through a modern digital reverb, then it just really adds to it. But what we've got here then is a brief look at the Super JX. Now, what does it do versus what does it lack for up against the Jupiter 6? It's pretty darn similar in sound, I have to say. Now, of course, it's DCOs. And so I just do that there. It's DCOs versus VCOs, and in my opinion, having played with both down the years, the DCOs give a thinner sound. The VCOs, with their inaccuracies, is actually what you want. Perfection is not better. So it lacks a little bit of fatness in that respect. The biggest thing that I miss is it's got one LFO, and the Jupiter 6 has got two. The Jupiter 6 has an LFO just assigned down to the performance area, the modulation area. And that means that you can keep that speed on the LFO when you apply the modulation, but then have a much slower LFO for a sweep sound being applied to the main sound. But you can't do that here. That hurts a little bit, I have to say. Having said that, there are various people now starting to make mods for these older synthesizers, and I know there's a couple out there for the Super JX. It's not my priority to amend this just yet, but that will be on the cards, especially if somebody can give me a second LFO. Other differences between the two: it doesn't have an arpeggiator, obviously, but that really, in 2015, is not a problem because just use another synth that does have one and send it over MIDI. So that's okay. Now I'm just going to have a quick look at my Jupiter 6 again. Yeah, it's got this has got two DCOs, so two oscillators. It has got four waveforms, but there's no pulse width. What you do have though is you do have the chorus. This probably won't be the best sound. Now, if I apply chorus, oh yes, you can hear it. You most definitely can hear that. Now it's a poor man's PWM, really. PWM will sweep across the sound, so it fattens it up. The amount that you'll hear is, I think, dependent on the amount of filter you're allowing through. Now that's very interesting. When you're playing live, I don't know, it's just through speakers, it doesn't sound as differential, but playing on headphones like I am now, I can really hear the difference. So, okay, so you've got the chorus to kind of make up for that lack. Oh, yes, the other thing that... I wish it did that. The LFO will not go into the VCA. If you look at the section here, it goes into the VCF. Incidentally, while I'm touching this thing, if you're going to get into the MKS-70, you've got to get yourself one of these. There are modern equivalents of that where they're kind of multifunction. That's a halfway house. But if you're going to go for one of these, then you've just got to mentally adjust to the fact you're going to be paying getting on for double to get one of these. But without it, this thing just becomes a preset synth. Why would you do that to yourself? So you've got to be able to program it. I mean, for my mind, I'm going all the way back to my roots. I got into synthesizers in 1984, SH101, what a great first synth to buy. And And I don't even want to have the thing as programmable. It's nice that it's there, but I just want to create the sound each time. I want to improve my synthesis. And if I can't get back to that sound, well, tough luck. Just keep practicing so you can get to any sound just by moving the sliders around. That, to me, is a true synth hero, and that's where I want to go. Of course, the playing's a whole other aspect of it. Not going into that today, sorry. So, that's another thing then that's different. The detune you get via the fine tune here. Oh, let's bring that. So it's not quite the same as a detune. It doesn't sound the same to me, but it's similar-ish. So you got that compensated for. There might be some other minor things, but that's pretty much it. So there we are. We start with the negatives, but once you get over those, and some of that could be compensated for by somebody writing a mod for it, after that, now you get into the core sound, and it's pretty similar. And a heck of a lot cheaper buying one of these than a Jupiter 6. Can't get Jupiter 6 rack mount. You can, of course, get the MKS-70. That's £1,500 at the moment on average. And then the programmer for that, well, again, unless you got the money, you'd want to go for one of these modern hybrid ones to save on the cash. But that's a heck of a lot more. Overall proposition, bought in a bundle, you see them on eBay for about $2,500, just under. An awful lot of money. Whereas the prices of these, 450 to 650. This is, I'm talking about this in April 2015. 450, 650, you'd expect to pay for one of these, and here anywhere between 300 and 550 for one of these. Overall, then, unless you're doing really well, you're probably going to part with $1,000 for a programmable, classic-sounding analog synth up against the MKS-70, 2,500. You know, that's a heck of a lot more. So I do want to get to playing, but this isn't the point of this video. Is there anything else I want to cover here? No, only to say that that you can get a full range of sounds out of this synth. I'm going to save the program into another video. Thanks for watching. It's been Steve from Sci-Fi Funk comparing MKS-70 with a Jupiter 6. Bye for now.